look, we're going to start this right away, and I'm going to say that my good friends, but great, acquaintances in Rap Station and Planet Earth, Planet Rap, the most incredible journalistic people ever in the genre of hip hop and rap music is Miko, Kapana, and Abgawa beginning. And I'm going to leave it up to y'all to pronounce the proper pronunciation of this city in Finland.
Oh yes, we're in Tampere. Yes.
And earlier, Miko said that this is like the Manchester, the industrial city of Finland. Let's give it the backdrop, because a lot of times in hip hop and rap music, the details, even more than ever, the details are just being dropped on the floor like rice at a dinner. And I'm just like saying that, you guys lay out, the details, the background, the resume, the spark of ambition, more better than anybody I've ever heard. So, talking to Miko and Goa just about the history, give us a little history of this industrial town, the second largest one in Finland.
All right, because I'm South African. For those who don't know, I'm from South Africa, and this is for me, of course, going to be an education. So I'm going to have to trust your knowledge on this one. Yes.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure, because also this is not my hometown, but yeah, essentially it's one of the bigger towns in an industrial center. They've been doing a lot of I think a lot of like clothing and things like that throughout the years. So it has been built. It has got a very much of kind of like a working class roots and that kind of atmosphere. And it's one of the major cities in Finland. I think it's kind of like, I would call it the second. It's always contested what is the second city that also, like when I lived in UK, I lived in Birmingham, and we said it's the second city, but the people in Manchester said that no, it's always contested. It's always contested what is the second city. But I think I think an argument could be made. I think this is the second city. Yeah.
And coincidentally, we're here because Public Enemy is playing with Guns N' Roses on their tour around Europe, and we're going to play during the month of July, which is now. So therefore, we took a 12-hour ferry and a 3-hour bus ride from Turku, where it went from Stockholm to Turku, and then we're now in
Tampere. Well done.
And we're going to go. We're going to go to Lithuania next.
Yes.
So you got to get a background of where you're at before you decide to talk about who is who and what is what.
I was going to say, to add to what Mick was saying, that lately, or at least as far as I'm concerned, Tampere has become like a cultural hub, because we usually come here when there's a musical act that we want to come and see. So I'm thinking that maybe this is the direction that they're going with. But of course, a person from Tampere would give you better information about this. But for us and to us, that's what it has been.
So what? So Helsinki, sports has the priority in Helsinki as with increasingly everywhere in the world. That's what we want to try to see with musicians. That's why, when the United States, they said, hey, listen, we want to consider and acknowledge you as a world cultural music ambassador. It wasn't like they wasn't important appointing me to anything. They were just acknowledging what I already been trying to do, and that's trying to make music and culture sort of like a sovereign nation of itself. Maybe, we don't need country passports, nation passports. Maybe we have a musical, cultural passport that allows us, to go to different places. But that's another story for another time. But it's part of woven into it's important to know about places if you want to contact and be in connection with people. So here we are.
And welcome.
I wanted to absolutely. I wanted to add to that, because when I was growing up, I remember music was identity, and I think it was more of a marker of your identity than even the country where you're from, which is very incidental.
Right, exactly.
Music is what you are drawn to. So this country, Finland, where I grew up, is a very sort of heavy metal. I think we still have the most amount of heavy metal bands per capita in the whole world. It's a very much of a rock.
Is it because it's been nurtured over a long period of time? But I mean, rap music is we have our struggles of just being able to be known, and this is why when Public Enemy comes along, we're very much acknowledged by the rock world and the rock bands, but it's not so we could keep it for ourselves. We just show people that this is an avenue that other than whatever pop situations come to approach you, the popular, or you got to do it the same old way that the artist's been doing it the last 30 to 40 years. It ain't about that either. So, I mean, so what would you think? It's like it's embedded in this culture. Why?
I don't know. I think it just matches the sort of national psyche somehow. I don't know. It's very funny to me because now today it's Guns N' Roses and Public Enemy, which was essentially like the thing that was was happening. We're having some background music.
That's the Flavor Flying Circus.
Public Enemy and Guns N' Roses was like, that was the thing in my secondary school classroom where everybody else was Guns N' Roses and I was Public Enemy. So that this is a kind of like a circle coming to it's a full circle moment for me today, certainly.
Really?
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Yeah.
Hey, bro, could you ask Rico just turn it down a little bit? I'm doing this interview. Yeah, just ask him for about like 20 minutes. But it sounds low. It sounds low enough. That's okay. That's Flavor. That's Rhiannon, Flavor's manager, and Flavor's girlfriend, Kelly Cheryl. You skating today, Rhiannon? Are you skating? Are you skating today?
The day you roller skate, I will skate.
My bag ain't in here. I mean, I would skate in here. Go ahead.
I plan for Lithuania.
All right, I got you. So, yeah, that's our thing on tour. This is, second grade, elementary school, or whatever.
Secondary school.
Secondary school.
Yeah.
Whatever year you talked about.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses.
I wonder what
and
that
P.
would have been, early 90s, I suppose.
Yeah.
Something like
88,
that.
89, 90.
Yeah, around that time, yeah.
Okay, well, here you are revisiting.
Yeah. I was born in the last days of 70s, so I was that around that kind of age.
That's when I was roller skating.
Yeah.
Rhiannon Ellis, who's Flavor's manager, is just, she's bought roller skates because I've bought roller skates on tour. Yeah. So when I go to a big arena or whatever, my brother has his bike. I have my skates. So downtime is a very important thing to know how to use when you're out on tour. Usually people don't know how to handle downtime. The less than experienced acts out there, that when they have the rigors of touring hit them, a lot of them are like, okay, now what do you do with 21 hours of the day?
What do you do with 21 hours of the day?
I draw, I sketch, I paint. I rarely even do music because I'm doing music
You
as
are doing music anyway.
Yeah. It's just part of the circulation. But I draw, I sketch, I paint, I archive. I try to work with the apps, Bring the Noise and also Rap Station. I try to come up with ideas. And then one thing which is different from any other area, ever since the pandemic, it seems like the grid is everywhere. For the good, bad, and the ugly, you could get in touch with anybody, anywhere. You got good phone plans. So, as great as we think it is, it's also like a little scary and nerve-wracking when you realize that not only is Big Brother watching you, but he's in your hip on the phone and he's inside you.
Yeah, you can't escape.
I wanted to say something after what Mick was saying about how he was Public Enemy and everybody else was Guns N' Roses. Now he's come full circle. Interestingly enough, in South Africa, we had something called white music and black music.
Mm-hmm.
And Guns N' Roses would fall under the category of white music.
White music, right.
And then, of course, Public Enemy would be
Black
seen
music.
as black music.
Okay.
So for me, it's quite interesting to see them come together like this.
Well, it ain't that much different from the United States. Although you got people that say, why they call it black music? Because sometimes with black music, 99% of the faces doing it are black people.
Yes.
But that's derogatory because when you see black bands do, heavy metal, they don't give them the acknowledgement. When you see, quote unquote, white rappers do rap and hip hop, they kind of like hesitant on giving the popular acknowledgement.
Yes.
And the numbers are just crazy because as musicians and, once they find out there's music that they love and dig, they end up doing that music.
Regardless
Without
of black or
category.
white or
Yeah,
any.
yeah.
Yes.
So I think hip hop culture, music is its own sovereign nation. And the thing about it, whether it's an artist that's barking about government, they're really barking about government for them to change using the tools that we have, our voice, our notes, our music. We don't have the language of bombs, bullets, bloodshed. But, we're screaming that governments are accountable or they have to change for the people. So a lot of times there's a lot of misinterpretation when people say, oh, man, this artist saying that. And yeah, they're only saying it. They can't really
Yes.
prove anything else but to say it. So having artists and culture as a sovereign nation, I don't think is as dangerous as they think it is, because the thing that's really permeating society quicker than anything that doesn't seem to have any clamps on it is technology. Technology is really a sovereign nation because it's in everybody's screen, in everybody's phone, in everybody's home. And technologists in Silicon Valley and other places in the world, they kind of look like they could do whatever they want to do.
That's the thing, and I think that the algorithms are a very complicated thing. I've really struggled with them a lot because, well, they do kind of create these bubbles, and then they become very aggressive. You just notice that you kind of like watch one video, and all of a sudden those are the only types of videos that you're shown.
Right.
This is even before the artificial intelligence and all of that.
Can you trust
stuff.
it?
Yeah.
And then, we say can't trust it.
Yeah.
And it
You
really
said that a long
applies
time
to
ago. Yeah.
or don't believe the hype.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really applying to this point right now. So we know artists have to use it. We know it to the benefit it's connected us. Like on this tour, we've already, and it's been highlighted, last week in the PEPR broadcast, how we were able to link in, sort of not the last minute, but
Sort of. Close enough.
and hook up with Jazz Kahina and also MacGyver. And I'd like to thank y'all for that. And how did that happen, really? I mean, I know I reached out to you. I like, listen, we're going around. Who can you find?
Yeah, I think that it wasn't last minute, but the timing was such that it required people that felt like they would be trust for the people who not only will come through, but also will go through the necessary communication.
Okay.
Because there's things that need to be arranged. So if there's somebody who will read their messages maybe once a week, there was no time to have the back and forth. It needs to be people who you trust. But of course, first and foremost, they need to be, like the good artists, the artists whose music we've been playing continuously in the show. So it all really all really comes to that. I think that what's good is good.
We've gone through waves. 16 years is the age of a child in secondary school, but here we are, right? And we know we've gone through waves and the whole systematic ways of struggling through these things together as rap station contributors. We've made some advancements. And at the same time, we look up and say, wow, are we getting the proper acknowledgement? There's things that you guys were doing 10 years ago that nobody's yet even come close to doing it. It gets discouraging sometimes, but I think I see light at the end of the tunnel because the world is bigger than the United States or the UK, and a lot of people are starting to realize that.
I'd like to hope so. And I think one of the challenges that we have is that there, like when we talk about this algorithms and all of this stuff, is that there's a way to be online, and we're not really that. Online is a lot about hot takes and about controversial things and gossip and stuff like that, and we're doing something that is
Quite different.
It's very different, and it requires that kind of openness, that people are open to something. So it's a kind of like jazz or like some. If you could compare it to food, like some people don't want to have anything but the burger or whatever.
And you guys are fine cuisine. Fine cuisine, explanation about the ingredients that go into it. And like I said, like this is maybe partially answers some of the question that I asked about, like why is Finland a heavy metal market to the magnitude that it is? And it came through those combinations of public resources and human relations.
Yeah, probably. I think it might have something to do. And then the long, dark winters.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You need to get that anger out.
so
You need to get that energy
yeah,
out.
yeah. I mean, so you're saying you got a long dark winter, but somebody turns on their favorite, music, and it carries them through the week and through the day.
That's the thing. That's the thing, and it has happened. And I don't know how it is these days. I don't know how the modern generations are. I was explaining because obviously, the context is I'm a big Public Enemy fan. I've been since my childhood and that. So you guys released a new album the other day, and I was just having it in my headphones, and I was saying to these guys, Thomas was saying that I don't know, if the kids of today can understand what it means to have your favorite band releasing a new record and having
surprise record at that.
and then having it for the first time in your headphones, and it's like you feel elevated and like that. But I think that they have different ways of
Screen ages have a lot more distractions. When you can pop on your phone and see what you want to see immediately, and from anywhere from music, sports, and then all those other things that are available, it kind of throws the glow off of, oh man, my favorite group came up with a record. It's like it's such a smaller part of the wheel.
It's like, what is a record?
Yeah, a recording. Yeah. But look, as screen ages, they might look down on recording, but the true aspect of recording is what everybody's doing right now.
Yeah.
They're recording everything from their devices.
That is things.
It's accessible by the masses. Anyway, what we're going to go into another phase of the Rap Central Station magazine, and it said that you guys are going to have a nice chunkable size of real estate in that magazine. Who do you see as your top 10 of coverage that I know I get? I first heard about Sampa the Great from you guys. I first heard about, Anatio from you guys.
Black Rock.
Yeah, Eugen Black Rock, a lot of Eugen Black Rock. So your top 10s and your charts, which we try to emphasize, is better than playlists or electronically, because playlists kind of appear and disappear based on algorithmic moment. But a chart now going to be in a printed magazine, a worldwide magazine, 4 to 6 times a year. It's going to really kind of hold some body or substance for a while. So I know that your first charts to go in that magazine for September 2025 is going to be quite a formidable stance that we got to let all those people know that they're part of a fortunate first listing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's and it's so difficult because, well, it's not difficult, but it's so open, you're open to interpretation, to do that. And the world is so huge. And for us, of course, the challenge always is that very difficult to know, we can't know all the artists from every country, but we've been playing music from well over 100 countries. And how many languages, I don't know.
Right.
Amazing artists that you mentioned. On top of them, there are many more. Kamau from Brazil comes to mind quickly. A lot of UK artists, of course, and South Africa. It's always a special place because not just she's from there, but also
right.
I used to live there. And,
yes.
and groups like Dream and Scarp and other people. So there's a lot of international, worldwide. Australia, New Zealand. New Zealand is a huge hip-hop country. A lot of people don't necessarily realize that it's a huge hip-hop country, and all across the Asia, Africa, of course, South America, every region, for one reason or another. And maybe you are better to analyze that, but this culture, this art form, this aesthetic has somehow resonated with people around the world.
Yeah, I think the co-signing has to be more aggressive. Screaming and yelling at people by me to tell them that there's a world out there that goes beyond their borders, waters, and orders. And where we are right now could be a key turning point, but it's no way in hell you're going to have 52 years of an art form and you're still at baby steps. I think the negligence has come in the areas of the lack of administration, the lack of caretaking, and I think those are the hurdles that heavy metal figured out. And I think if you want to give a heavy metal beginnings of 68, 69, the big celebration the other day in Birmingham of Black Sabbath, and everybody came and for the quote unquote the last tour or the last shows, but even
Right.
that's debatable.
Right there in my old neighborhood, I used to live very close by for
Really?
years. Yeah.
Yeah. So they don't have that many more years longer than hip hop, if you want to count 79 or 73, or or 79 recorded wise, 73 aesthetic wise from the Bronx. Heavy metal is like what, maybe 6-7 years earlier, maybe, if you want to say 67, 68. But everybody points to Ozzy and Black Sabbath as 69, 70. So that's only 3 years old. I mean, recording wise, but or Hendrix, you might say 66, 67. But the difference is organization and administration properly. It's other than just being black and white. But so in the area of world music, this is a world music, and we're going to fight hard for it. And the fact that, in case you guys don't realize, whenever you hear Planet Earth, Planet Rap, it allows the rapper or it allows the verses, bars, and the raps to be what they are. But the beautiful interpretation, albeit in English, is by Abgawa and Miko, who break it down. And so you can listen to the song and you know what it's about without trying to think it has to capitulate to English. That's a big technique. I don't think that a lot of people has figured out. But I think initially when it came down to playing world music and hip hop, the biggest problem was they didn't know how to play it. And you guys figured out a technique on how to play it, interpret it, and therefore your voice notes from around the world, and also the way that you have it in flotation from your segments, break it down for somebody could comfortably listen to a song in another language and know that they were prepped for it. So that's you guys' invention, because nobody could figure that out before.
I think the timing was very good because I think even when we started doing Planet Earth, Planet Rap, even the technology, like in your mobile phones and such, if you were recording like a voice note or send a message, the quality wasn't as good. But then technologically, the quality became a little bit better. Even when we were doing our podcast series, these services like Zoom or whatever, all these online services, they became better. The quality became better. Audio quality became better. So it wasn't like a jarring. It's very jarring to listen to something that is of terrible quality. So I think we were a little bit lucky with that, but maybe more like inspired by it, I suppose. But yeah, it's been a nice thing. And also, you always said that hip hop artists need to be invited on a couch. In a talk show, they get to perform, but they need to be invited on a couch for a conversation. And it was in that spirit that the voice notes from around the world, that is us inviting them on the couch.
What's been some of the best feedback from artists that actually receiving this type of treatment?
I think they are mostly very happy, and sometimes it is sometimes also. Look, some of these things I think are a little bit unbelievable sometimes when we ask, because people struggle to get on radio.
Right.
Now, we quite often contact people and say, we would like to play your song on Chuck D's radio. So
Yeah, because it only makes the utmost sense that somebody, especially back in the day, they spend X amount of time in the studio to write it, put it together, master it, and release it. And when they're releasing it, how many takers are taking it? And then somebody calling them up and like, look, we want to take care of your baby. We want to be able to cultivate and make sure that we can take care of it. And that's a gigantic different step than what's happened in the past. Like, we don't care what you're delivering. You just better have a budget behind you.
Yes, I think it's almost too good to be true for most of these artists when we tell them that we can give them a moment on Chuck D's show. And I think because people don't even know necessarily who PEPR is.
Right.
Yes.
Or they don't even know what rap station is.
Yes.
Even when you tell them, over and over, we tell them, like, listen, we got a service that do you right. And then the simple method was, when we play you, record it, and then figure out a way that you can boost it on your social media. But now we're coming to the time where, like, social media accessible social media is like now, what, 10 years in realistically? Yes, maybe 15, 20 years as a, you know, as a thing, but really 10 years as a solid understanding, like, oh, I got my Instagram, I got my Facebook, I got my YouTube channel. So we tell them, like, hey, listen, when you get coverage, give us some love.
That's one of the things. That's one of the things, and I think that it can be a very difficult, just like Amaka was saying. Sometimes people can be taken a little bit aback, but it might be difficult for people to articulate what has just happened when they've been invited to send us a voice note, to talk about their art, talk about their song, talk about this thing, talk about maybe themselves. It's a very open invitation. What if they want to say whatever they feel is the best contextualization for that music?
Yeah.
You know, that's what we ask them to say.
You're getting the most out of artists of anybody on a rap station. Flatline is now getting a lot of hip hop guys to realize, like, and I got to put it to you very simply. It's like the only game in town that cares.
Yes.
Yep, it's a service. It's a
People
service
are
industry.
making a song and they're like, okay, and looking around, and nobody want to. All right, yeah, I'll play it in my mix. I mean, how is that providing a service? So Flatline's starting to realize that with Hip Hop Gods. You guys been doing it with Planet Earth, Planet Rap for the longest. Hopefully, there's a genre that realizes that when somebody provides you a service, you should also double that service by acknowledging it on your own social media networks.
Yeah, I think that's what we've been struggling with, because we are the ones who are approaching the artists, we're the ones who are playing their music, but it doesn't seem like it's reciprocated quite.
Yeah. Well, Chairman Malcolm Riddle, he does an incredible job over at Base Hit Radio, because those are where all the submissions come in. But then some people just like, you know what? I'm going to just keep submitting through the submission station. And so mainstays like Napoleon the Legend, who also has roots in France and other places. And then, Senor Gigio, who has roots in Mexico, but he's in the Bay Area. So now we also know that people and MCs and artists in the United States, they realize how to move on something quicker when they're being served, as opposed to somebody in the United States just thinking that they're going to make their local town's radio.
And it's up to people themselves how they're going to use it. Now you've had this platform, you've been, you've had the, let's say, good fortune to be featured in this project. Then, it's up to you. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to just keep it to yourself, or are you going to tell the world? And people have different approaches to that, and that.
Well, you're making music. If you're making music and keep it to yourself in your own laptop files or phone, that's cool too. But I think the what they want to happen is somebody to take it and take it to the next level.
I want to be keep things very positive, but there has been some times when we are doing that, and then people are in an interviews, like saying that, people, like, nobody gives us a chance, nobody gives us props or whatever.
While you're doing the interview with them.
while we are like
Yeah.
doing the thing, and then it's like, okay, I see how you feel about it, whatever. But we're all people, and people are very different, and I can't judge anybody. So it's all good. But there's been that. So also I think that there's many different kinds of artists, and for a lot of artists who don't get that exposure that they feel like they should have, they can become a little bit embittered. I understand that fully well, but I think that all we can do is try to keep things positive and build, because that's all we can do.
We're being filmed and photographed partially by one of the pioneer innovators of the And You Don't Stop radio show, and helped put it together. It's DJ Johnny Juice, who's out here as the head, what we call band leader, turntablist, orchestrator, music maker, Public Enemy, coming full circle 38 years later. Go figure. So
Yeah, when we started at And You Don't Stop also, then that's of course.
You had to turn your
Johnny
files
Juice
into
was,
juice. Yeah.
producing the whole damn thing.
We were
Yeah.
catching up on that, and he was telling us the history of PEPR, and I was like, wow, PEPR existed long before we came along, but to
Yeah.
us it's like second
Yeah,
nature
yeah.
now.
Yeah, I mean, so Give me a top five. We already had Eugene Blackrock. One of the beautiful things also is that the different I told somebody this before and they almost cursed me out. I told them when they was asking for a top five, I said, I can't pick a top, no, they would ask me top five. I said, I can't pick a top, oh, let me rephrase that. They were asking me for most skilled MC. And I said, I can't pick a most skilled MC from an MC that only knows one language. And when I told them about there's MCs out there that could spit 3 languages and braid them like hair, they almost cursed me out. Because they was just like, get the F out of here, man. What does that mean? And all that. So it's, once again, it was like just United States favorism, where it's like, yo, man, in sports, just because you come from the USA don't mean you ain't gonna get your ass whipped or outraced, out jumped. You know, you might come up and like, okay, yeah, we can win the gold in basketball, but that tapped out too. So just because you from New York or the United States don't mean it's going to last forever. So, I mean, the fact that when I also read some MCs and I'm like, damn, this person got like 5 countries under their belt. It's straight crazy amazing.
Yes.
Shall I do this?
Just recently. No,
yeah.
I mean, I've got some names that come to mind, but I want to hear what you have to say, because I was going to say Anna Tijoux.
Yeah.
Incidentally, they're all mainly female.
Yeah, and here's another thing I want to interject so you could probably build on it, Amgelwa. People talk about this women in hip-hop from this corporate USA standpoint, where the deliveries over the last 16 years, at least 30%, or at least give it a liberal number, 25% of all the output of hip-hop around the world involves women.
Yeah, when we were doing the podcast, remember when we were doing the podcast, we did an interview even with you, Chuck, and we were asking Major One, I think, was it Major One that we were asking about how does she feel about being, when people refer to her as a female hip-hop artist, and then she was like, she tries not to lead with gender, because this is just like her profession, this is what she does.
Right.
So her gender it should be immaterial, really.
Right.
But in the world we live in, it does matter, and the world of hip hop, of course, is predominantly male-dominated, right? So for us, it's just by some twist of fate, we happen to know of these amazing artists who happen to be female.
The twist of fate is 16 years at a 30 percentile. So, I mean, that ain't it ain't no mistake. It ain't no favoritism. That's just how the numbers rolled out.
I think that these artists who are women, it's not that they're embarrassed, it's not that they have a problem with it or anything like that, but I think it has been used against them as a sort of weapon, or like,
right.
You're good for a girl, or you are like this, and having like all this kind of thing. So they have maybe sometimes a little bit defensive approach to that, and fair play. I mean, like, I don't, it's not for me to say how they must, like, how people, anybody should identify, so that is all good. Yeah, but those are some of like these artists that have already been mentioned. Anna Tijoux, really great. We just had an interview with her. Wonderful person, really great artist, have a new EP out. It's superb. Sampa the Great, we also interviewed her. She has apparently now, I'm reading from the social media that the new album is done, but I don't know when it's going to be released. So that's going to be something that we're looking forward to. She's another great artist from Zambia, lives in Botswana, used to study in Australia. A lot of countries represented there. Eugen Blackrock, our friend of the show, our friend also, she's from South Africa, great artist, really like this kind of like it's a dark aesthetic. It's not like club music. It's this whole atmosphere. Like her music is this whole atmosphere. She's got a very new, I would say new. It's not even recent. It's new album out. She's got from just a few months ago, and that's really, really great. Another great album that is coming also, I'm continuing with women, Stephanie from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and she's we are now having her on PEPR, I think next week probably, or depending on when everything goes out. But from this moment of recording, it's going to be coming soon. Her album Bunmi's got a lot of great. It's got a features by people Kamau, MSC, the great artists from Brazil. Also, of course, then also there's Anna Tishu is on one song. So that's really something that is really great. Australia, we've been supporting the indigenous Australian artists. There's a lot of great artists there.
Yeah, Briggs was going to open up for us in Australia, but the tour has been moved to 2026 early, so it could be a great chance that Briggs opens while PE and Cypress Hill most likely will play that tour. So I'm looking forward to that.
That would be great because he's really a wonderful artist, and I've been fan of the music. And there's a lot of artists from a lot of places. It's always a problem when you start naming names, is that there are names that then you forget to name, and people might take it personally. But like I said, we've been playing music from over 100 countries for like
Ever.
It's many years, and that. So there's a lot of artists, and we can't name all of them here. But there's a lot of my all-time. In my top 5, I've got Blitz the Ambassador, who's since become a
filmmaker,
film director, and all that stuff. Great, but what an MC he is! Really great. And there's a lot of artists, from Africa, a lot of artists from Europe, of course. Being always. Like here, we haven't really mentioned a lot about French rap, but French, of course,
always
huge thing.
Always big. And the way you guys interpret, anybody from France or any one of the I call it tributaries, whether it be Morocco or whether it be even Quebec and different places where they speak French, Senegal. You guys are able to break down that barrier down pretty well.
Yes, and I've been practicing my French for enough years. I should be able to have
That's a tough barrier because of the English-French rivalries hundreds of years ago, and now we're all beleaguered with that dividing line. So,
UK, a lot of artists from UK, Kalashnikov, Loki, Akala, a lot of people like that, and Jessica Hina we mentioned, she was just now there on a tour, and there's a lot of people like that. And then here from Nordic countries, Loop Troop Rockers,
Yes, Loop Troop, definitely.
Timbuktu. Promo is from Loop Troop, he's also solo artist. There's a lot of great artists that come from these parts of the world, and everywhere. That's the thing, everywhere. There's no one place or it's every place.
Yeah, my next 5 years, 10-year program and plan before I peter out is really be aggressive about who we are, because I have to tell people nobody else out there gives a damn. I mean, I was humble to not say that before, but now I got to really tell. I say, 90% of the people out there situated, when you deliver your record to that, they don't give a damn. So I think the Rap Central Station World magazine will be a pleasant surprise to its publishers and the readers involved because of its reach. And I think that also that real estate of coverage is also 20% is going to be UK and Canada. So that's also in your territory too as well. There's a lot of hip hop lineage and a lot of hip hop real estate in the UK, Canada, and also in the rest of the world. Look, whether the United States pays attention or not, the magazine will lead someone to say this is a collectible. And if it's a collectible, the facts inside, it's going to stick and stay.
And what a lot of people don't necessarily realize is that both UK and Canada, they have such a huge Caribbean influence. So they have the direct lineage from Jamaica and from the other Caribbean countries also. So they don't their blend is even slightly different. But
who you got in Jamaica? Jay Steez,
Steez.
Yeah, he's solid too.
Yeah.
I've played him quite a few times.
We have been playing, and he's very consistent with his music.
Yeah. So, and here we are in 2025. I'd like to say that you're featured heavily in my book coming out in February 2026 in Our Chaos. And then there's a film that comes alongside. I know you guys probably kind of peeped it from the outside looking in, but we had a viewing at UCLA, and and also it's going to be heavily featured as a chapter in the book. And you guys got some minutes up in there for real.
This is what I keep on
You
hearing.
keep
but I
hearing
look
it, right?
forward to seeing.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna try to reach out and see if I can get that link to y'all right away.
Thank you.
But here we are. We're in you gotta say it. I'm Kawa.
Tampere.
Tampere, right? For the Guns N' Roses Public Enemy show, and it should be another one of those experiences y'all could chalk up. And then from this point on, we go hard and aggressive on Planet Earth, Planet Rap, having a very beneficial 2025, 2026. And I'll make sure all your efforts are not going to be in vain.
Thank you.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chuck.
And then also, the ideas that you guys make your own book.
It's coming.
Impossible, your own, documentary film.
Well, that would be the dream. That's when you're done with all this, then we can go and travel the world and.
Yeah. Well, I think you guys film and I'll be in my home base. but here's another. I think the possibility. Dr. Sami Alim from UCLA, who's actually put together the book and the film. I think linking into you guys and making sure that this coverage is, more like academia backed and gallery backed, as opposed to looking in the marketplace and hoping that, we cluster up fans by the algorithm of fandom, as opposed to like being institutionalized in areas where it's really respected like it should be,
Absolutely, and thank you, Chuck, for giving us this opportunity, the platform for every year. It's not taken for granted.
Well, it's not easy. We're 16 years in, and if somebody was to tell you like, yeah, we're going to keep trying and doing it for 16 years, it'll make anybody want to give up after 2. So the fact that
the labor of love.
it's the fact that we've all hung in there, and I really appreciate y'all, and let's go forward. And I think at the end of the day, there's a reward for this service.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.